So in Pokemon Gold and Silver, they introduced the idea of Pokemon being able to breed. Ooh, how naughty. How does the Pokemon create an egg? It's actually funny, I was breeding some stuff earlier, and some of the characters are like, no one's actually seen a Pokemon lay an egg, so we're not really sure if it's, you know, if it's true that they lay eggs. They just kind of appear there. And they have the genetic material of their mother and father. It's kind of funny. It's like, ooh, we're so innocent. Anyway, they try to get around some of the delicate subject matter of that one. But here's how it works. All the Pokemon now, or most of them, most Pokemon species have a gender or a sex. They're either male or they're female. Some species don't have genders, like Magneton and some of the legendary ones. But that doesn't mean that all of those can't breed. Most Pokemon can breed. If they don't have a gender and they can breed, they have to breed with a Ditto. For example, Nidoking. Nidoking, because they're all male and Nidoking are all female, and they didn't really work that one out when they were thinking about it originally, a Nidoking has to mate with a Ditto. A Ditto, whenever it mates with another Pokemon, it's going to produce an egg that is of the other Pokemon species. So if a Nidoking and a Ditto made an egg, it would be a Nidoran male would be produced. The Pokemon that can't breed at all include baby Pokemon, because they don't want to mess with that thought. And a lot of the legendaries. In fact, let's say all of the legendaries can't breed. I'm trying to think of one that can. Maybe Rotom, I don't know. But like Articuno, Zapdos, Raikou, Mewtwo, Celebi, any of those things that Nintendo doesn't want a lot of people to have, they can't breed. But every Pokemon is assigned to 1 or 2 breeding groups. For example, Monster, or Field, or Field 2, or they can't breed at all, or they can only breed with a Ditto. You can find these egg groups in most players' guides, or you can go to Cerebi.net. That's pretty much Cerebi.net is the one I suggest. They'll tell you exactly everyone who's in every breeding group. But anyway, in order for 2 Pokemon to breed, they have to either share a breeding group, or they need to mate with Ditto. Breed with Ditto. Who doesn't want to mate with the little amorphous blob thing? Blech. For example, today I decided I was going to breed some new Aarons from my Aggron. So the mother's the Aggron, the father is going to be a Meganium that I have. They share a egg group, Monster, which is literally the name of the egg group. So you take those two to the Pokemon daycare, usually run by an old man and woman in whatever version of the game you have. If you leave them there for a while, eventually they'll just make an egg. Now, then you have to take that egg and walk around with it. It'll hatch after a certain number of steps, or bikes, or whatever you want to call it. If you're on a bike, it doesn't matter, it's fine. Now, there are a couple Pokemon that if you have them in their party, it speeds up the process. There are Pokemon that have the ability Flame Body, which include Magcargo, and I believe Arcanine. I'm not sure about that one, but there are a few fire Pokemon that actually speed up the process. So it's always nice to have them in your group whenever you're walking with eggs. Now, here's what happens. Here's the reason why you want to breed. Not only can you create a bunch of Pokemon for someone, like say you got one Eevee, but you want all the Eevee evolutions. Just breed the thing with a Ditto. Then you can have all 7 and send them to your friends in Great Britain or whatever. Hi, Chucks. And Rices. Shout out. Anyway, what it also does is it transfers some of the things from the parents to the baby. Now, here's what can be transferred. First of all, I believe the female's IV values can be transferred, which is something that you can't measure. It's something that the game doesn't show. But basically, if you have high IV values for strength or defense or whatever, it can be transferred onto the baby. I don't have a great explanation for this because I don't really understand it. It's not something that you can really find out. So have fun with that. Better explanation, go to Cerebi. Also, you can transfer from the father any TMs technical machines that the father learns that the baby could learn, they're automatically transferred. Like say my Meganium had a Earthquake or something. If Meganium had Earthquake and Aeron can learn Earthquake, then the baby Aeron would be born with Earthquake in its move arsenal. That's just an example. What I did was I transferred an egg move. All Pokemon have certain egg moves that they can learn, that they don't learn when they level up, that they can learn from their father. Now, my Meganium had Body Slam, and all the babies produced, all the little Aerons produced, now know Body Slam because his father had that egg move. Another thing that, say if you're breeding two Agrons and they both knew Iron Head, the baby will be born with Iron Head as well. The mother and father share a move that the baby would level up and get anyway. They learn that. So it's a good way to train babies by having powerful moves. Like if you're training a baby Charmander, the fact that a new Flamethrower at level 1 is going to mean it's going to train a lot faster, which is a nice thing to have. So you've got IVs, technical machines, any level up move, like I said, any level up move that the two parents have, the baby can learn, and egg moves. Egg moves and breeding is how a lot of the competitive Pokemon get certain hard to get attacks. And there's a huge list of examples that I'm not going to go into, but the best attacks in the game for certain Pokemon can only be bred into them or using a technical machine or something like that. So that's basically it for breeding. I believe if the mother, I think, is holding an Everstone, you can kind of transfer its nature, which is docile or naughty or whatever you want to call it, which I will talk about in Generation 3 when that's introduced. But that's basically it for breeding. It's kind of a fun thing to do. It's can be time consuming, but it is the best way to get a competitive style Pokemon. You basically have to do that to get some of the moves. But if you have any questions, you can drop me a line on YouTube or you can check it out on Cerebi.net. Alright, thanks.